Welcome. Yo. Welcome back to the Vision is Real YouTube channel. I'm your host, JD, and this is another episode. I think this is like episode 4 of Night Vision. So how's everybody's new year going so far? Who broke their New Year's resolution so far? Who broke it? Who stopped working out? Who stopped going to the gym? Who broke the diet? Who what is this, like week 3? Like who's still hanging in there as far as their New Year's resolution? I didn't really have a resolution, but I had a goal. I had a lot of fun in these Houston restaurants last year. So, this year I was like, I got to bring down the weight. Hopefully from episode 1 to now, you guys see the difference a little bit. And, I'm starting to slim down. So we're going to jump right into it tonight. Tonight is going to be kind of real. I'm going to try not to go long. It's not going to be a long one, but we'll see. But one of the first things I wanted to kind of jump into tonight was, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to like this gambling problem, this gambling addiction, this online gambling addiction, that's going on in the country right now. And it's something that's been kind of brewing for like a while now. And one of the things that, people are, paying attention to as far as the online gambling is how it's seeping over into sports. And it's kind of difficult because sports, especially in America, was one of those last landscapes where we tried to keep it as pure as possible. We know when it comes to pro sports and even college sports, once money get involved in anything, it's going to dilute it. It's going to make it a little bit more evil, a little bit more messy. But with the gambling thing, like at this point, like who knows? But I was reading some articles this past week, and I was like, wow, this whole online gambling thing is much more prevalent than I thought. Yeah, we see the commercials, we see the watermarks and a lot of other podcasts, but it's something that's like been really, really brewing and really, really becoming more of a problem. We all grew up with the aunties and the uncles and the grandpas who went to the horse tracks, and the aunties who went to their competitive for money spades games, and the aunties who went to the casinos. We may see that now. If you stop by a casino, you might see an auntie or uncle just kind of hanging out at the slots or hanging out at the table. But it's kind of weird because Harvard Medical School has online gambling right now at about 80%. I was like, yo, 80%. And the crazy part about gambling is, and you guys can look this up. I'm not trying to, throw out like medical stats here, but gambling is one of those weird addictions where you don't really see it coming. You don't really see the problem brewing because you feel like, okay, I'm not putting anything into my body. I'm not smoking anything. I'm not, vaping anything or anything like that. But gambling actually has like a chemical reaction within your brain. So people don't really realize it's a problem typically until it's too late. Tell y'all a quick story. Some years ago, I got a friend, and this particular homeboy, we would go to the casino. I would go to the casino with him. And it was cool, I'll go to the casino, but I'm one of those people where I don't really, I never really gamble. It's never really been my thing. I'm one of those people that's kind of like, giving my money away and, losing money. I'm kind of like, this ain't really for me. Not to mention, in casinos, there's like a lot of smoking, and cigarette smoke and cigar smoke is something that I just can't handle. I can't really do. I used to smoke cigars up until about 5 years ago, leisurely, but cigarette smoke is something that I just can't do. So, but I would still go with him, and he was the gambler. And we went to the casino this one night. We must have got there. This was in Fort Lauderdale. We must have got there about, I would say, 10 o'clock at night. And I hung around with him. He's one of those he's one of those big table gamblers. So he was going to the spades table. He was going to the roulette table. He was doing all type of stuff. I would check in on him, be like, hey, buddy, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm straight, Jay. And I just keep walking around. I was one of those people watchers in the casino. I'm people watching. I'm floating around. I may play like one of those little fun slots. There was like a Michael Jackson slot in there that I kind of like. I may play that a couple times and just keep floating around, go to the restaurant, eat a slice of pizza. So I'm one of those people, and I would always go back and check on him. So it was about, it must have rolled up around like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to head out of here. I think I had to work the next day. So I go to him. I'm like, listen, bro, I'm about to head out. You ready to head out? You about to play your last hand? And he's like, nah, I'm gonna stick around. I'm like, all right. Now this is me not knowing that. I'm like, I don't see a gambling problem. I think he's just having fun, whatever. So I leave, you know, I go home, go to sleep, whatever. I wake up in the morning and I was like, let me hit the boy, make sure he got home safe. So I call him and he's like, I'm like, yo, did you get home safe? He's like, well, I'm at McDonald's right now. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's kind of early. We're a little older. So I'm like, McDonald's this time of morning? And he's like, I'm at McDonald's right now. I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of early. He's like, yeah, I'm just leaving the casino. I'm like, what? I'm like, you was there the entire night? Like, you never left from when I last saw you? He was like, nah, man, I was up and then I got down and I had to get up again. And I was kind of like, yo, I'm like, so you good? Did you leave with some money? He's like, yeah, I made a little bit of it back, but you know, we'll see what I can do tonight. And I'm like, tonight? He's like, you gonna roll with me? I'm like, nah, bro. And I don't think you should go either. But I'm not gonna get into any more details. Other than that brother actually ended up moving to Vegas. So I don't know. We'll save that for like another episode. But yeah, man, like I just kind of wanted to touch on the whole gambling thing right now. Like, it's like, bro, especially I'm speaking primarily to the men. It's like, man, I know I'm not, again, if this is something that you realizing is like a problem, or you coming up on that, like this could be a real issue, it's like, yo, you really got to seek help. And that's not even me trying to like sound cliche. You really got to get help. Put yourself on them. You can actually put yourself on ban lists at casinos, and you know, you won't be able to enter. Now the online thing makes it a lot more difficult, you know, because that's readily accessible, you know, via phone, via internet, Wi-Fi, wherever. It's a quiet destroyer. It's like right now going on in America, it's a quiet destroyer of lives. You got people gambling away, you know, Missy and Junior's college funds. You got people like spending the rent and the mortgage. And I was in property management, and I really didn't see it coming over the years when I was in property management, where people would actually come into the office like, yeah, you know, I was one of those people that residents kind of confided in. So once in a while I would get a resident in there who'd be like, yeah, man, I had a tough night. This is men and women. I had a tough night at the casino last night. I'm not gonna make that rent this month. And this is around like 2014, 2015, 2016, when, you know, the online gambling thing was starting to, you know, bubble. But it wasn't quite a trend yet. It wasn't quite like, it didn't quite catch on quite yet. Or maybe it did. Like I said, I'm not in that world. Maybe it was already around and I just didn't know. But a lot of people was like, yeah, man, I can't make the rent this month because I had a tough night at the casino last night. And I'm like, wow. But yeah, gambling, man, it's one of those quiet destroyers. The online gambling addiction it's available 24/7. So it's set up for the house to win. And apparently, according to the research, and again, y'all can research this yourself. According to the research, it's like the online stuff is especially set up for you to lose. But nobody, especially these gambling addicts, they don't talk about the losses. All they talk about is the wins. We never really hear about the losses until it gets like truly dramatic, to where a person has like squandered their life away. Or we see the memes on the internet where a person is passed out in a casino hotel on the floor, just destitute, wondering what they're gonna do. And there's a reason that there are no open windows. You cannot open a window in Las Vegas. You cannot open a window in Las Vegas. And that's because they need to prevent people who go to Vegas, you know, gamble their entire life away, and then they want to unalive themselves. There's no, you are not, if you go to Vegas, you realize you cannot open a window in any casino in Vegas.
No, Mercy. Don't eat the flower. Dulls the senses. Keeps you prisoner here. Wake up.
Hey, I think I'm gonna go get some air. I'll be right back.
Focus.
Another Lotus flower?
No, thank you. I really don't want another Lotus flower, so please leave me alone.
Is there a problem, Mr. Jackson?
No. Thank you.
Percy Jackson's awake.
You know, like I said, everybody talks about those small wins, but nobody talks about those consistent losses when it comes to gambling, man. And like I said, it's one of those quiet addictions going on right now. And with the online thing, I feel like it's gonna be like a huge problem in this next year or two. I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, like I know we just kind of starting out with this whole podcast, but if it gets to the point where I get, you know, sponsors or whatever, and if one of those like online betting sites, you know, come knocking, I might have to, you know, turn it down. I know my stepdaughter, my producer might have an issue with that, but you know, we're gonna have to talk about that. But because I'm like, that's not something that I could probably co-sign. You know, America is a business, and you know, America stopped being a traditional country. No, okay, I'm about to give y'all a little lesson. America really stopped being like a traditional country in like the late 60s and early 70s. And it just basically turned into a corporation. And depending on who you ask, America stopped being like a true country after JFK was unalived. So America is a corporation. It's a business. I know people don't like to face that fact. I know people don't like to admit it, but it is. Everything in this country is set up for it to make money. And online gambling is one of those things where it's set up to make money. So that whole gambling thing, like, y'all, you really got to get a handle on it. I'm going to leave, you know, again, I'm not trying to sound cliche, but I'm going to leave something in the description that, you know, whoever thinks it's become a problem or this could be a problem, you got to seek the help, man, with this gambling thing. Because it's like I said, you don't really see it, you know, becoming a problem because it's not something that you're ingesting into your body, so you don't consider it a drug. It truly is having a chemical and physical reaction within your brain. You can ask your certified doctor that, or you can look it up yourself. You know, and one of the things that makes it really, really weird, like I said earlier, is because this is leaked over into sports. And I don't even need to get into all the stuff that's been going on with these athletes as far as betting and all the stuff that they've been getting caught up in. So now that gambling is so readily accessible to everybody, and now that it's leaked over into like one of the final landscapes in our country where we just wanted it to remain as pure as possible, it's like we can't even rely on sports anymore. We can't even and that's crazy to me. But again, you know, think this is a problem. If you think this is a problem or becoming a problem, get the help, man. Put yourself on those ban lists. You know, put yourself on. I don't know how to. I've never even betted online myself, so I don't even know if you can put yourself on ban lists on these websites. But if you can, I would do that because, you know, you really got to discipline yourself. You know what I mean?
You know you're a lying, low-life, motherfucking gambling degenerate prick. You know that's what you are? Two small kids at home, and you didn't gamble that fucking money. You gonna stand here and tell me that? No, you didn't? Don't fuck with me, Al. Don't make a fuck out of me. You wanna embarrass me, make a fool out of me? You didn't gamble? Tell me you gambled the fucking money. I'll give you the fucking money to put the fucking heat on. Did you gamble? Huh? Fucking degenerate, you. Fucking kids at home.
But yeah, you take a sip of this wine real quick. Yeah, that hit. Discipline. Fellas, discipline. You know, Charleston White, the great Charleston White, says something very interesting. Again, he's the one who I first heard this from, where he said America stopped, you know, being a country, a traditional country a long time ago, and is really set up like a business. And then I started to think about the men and, you know, this whole gambling thing. I started to think about that stuff this week, and I was just kind of like, yo, what's going on, my fellas, man, in the discipline? You know, what are we doing, fellas? Be honest. Let's have the come into the altar talk. Let's have the come into Christ. Like, what's going on, fellas, with the discipline? Is this hard for y'all? Like, again, I'm not trying to say I'm perfect at all. I make a ton of mistakes. But if there's one thing that I've kind of prided myself on in my adult life, is maintaining certain disciplines. Fellas, what are y'all doing? Yeah, I need the playbook. Yeah, I need the playbook. Yeah. Have y'all been conditioned by society like the last 10, 15 years too much? You know, has society softened y'all too much to where y'all can't, you know, focus on the discipline, focus on your purpose, focus on your money, you know, focus on your skill set, focus on your career, focus on your body, focus on the gym. Like, what's going on? What's the playbook? The playbook is simple. We men. Life for us is set up to be very stoic. A lot of times it's set up for us to be very ABC 1, 2, 3, very simple. We stick to the script. And I think society has like really softened men like the last 10, 15 years or so. And the playbook is real simple, fellas. You got to buckle down. Yeah, I said it. Like, here's the playbook. Wake up. You go to work. You come home. You go to the gym. You come back. You focus on work. You focus on your skill set. You focus on whatever purpose it is. You focus on whatever side business you got. You watch a little bit of sports. You watch a little bit of sports. You watch a little bit of TV. You might even play a little bit of the video game. I know there's some gamers out there. I know a lot of you fellas are, you know, gamers, and I'm not knocking you. I'm not a gamer, but I'm not knocking you. We all need an outlet, but let's not make it a habit. You go to bed. You wake up. You rinse, repeat. Fellas, it's real simple, man. Our lives should be set up and are built for discipline, purpose, provision, providing, working hard. If you a single dude out here, especially if you're young, if you anywhere between like, you know, in your 20s, you out of college, you in your early 30s, you single, you ain't got no kids, you should have 2 jobs. You should have 2 jobs and a hustle. If you single and you live alone, why are you coming home and going to sleep? Why are you coming home and just jumping on the game and not focusing on your purpose and not focusing, you know, on your skill set and on your hustle? Why don't you have 2 jobs? Why? And then you wonder why these women out here don't like you? You wonder why they not showing you any attention? Because you broke. We already explained that a couple episodes ago. It's because you're broke. And it's like, again, I run into so many like younger dudes, man. I've reached that age where like a lot of young dudes are starting to ask me for advice. Again, I'll never put the unk title on me, but I might be big bruh at this age. And I'm like, yo, why don't you have 2 jobs? Like, oh, come on, Jay. Like, you know, I'm trying to live. I'm trying to, you know, rest. Like, hey, man, look, we men. We leave the relaxing and the resting to the ladies. We leave the relaxing and the resting to the women and the children. We men, we need to work. And I'll never tell you nothing that I'm not doing myself. My own wife and my own daughter will tell you, like, I'm always at my computer. I'm always working. I'm always, I log in on the weekend. Holidays, my family members will tell you, hey, Jay, you working? Yeah, I'm logging in for an hour or 2. I got to work on this. I got to look at that. I'm always working. I've always liked to work. I've been working since I was 10 years old. I started out packing bags in grocery stores in Brooklyn when I was 10 years old. The first time I made $20 as a 10-year-old, I stood up for like 12 hours that day. I was $20 in the 80s. I thought I was rich. And again, I've been working since I was 10. I had my first official job when I was like 14, and I had my first like official, you know, job that wasn't through the city or nothing when I was 16. Hey man, fellas, we need to discipline our lives. I think we moved away from that. The fellas have definitely moved away from that. Y'all, a lot of y'all think y'all like ladies out here. Y'all women. It's like women are built for relaxation. Women are built for comfort. Men are built for hunting. Men are built for provisioning. Men are built for providing. Men are built for making money. Men are built for building civilization. And then we leave legacies behind. Why are my fellas so soft? Again, you better work you 2 jobs. You better work you 2 jobs and a hustle. If you complaining about money, I'm seeing the fellas online complaining that the rent's too high. You a man and the rent's too high? And you expect some female to leave with you, and you complaining that the fucking rent's too high? I've never complained about that before in my adult life. Listen, man, y'all better wake up in the morning, slap the ground, punch the concrete, and get to work. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You are a man. Get out there, work, get 2 jobs, get 3 jobs, get a hustle. Stack your paper, invest your money, find the help, find the resources, and how to trade stocks. Find the resources of how to compound your interest and make your money start to make money. Y'all need to get out there, get back out there, be men, and get to work and provide these resources for yourself, for your families, and to better yourself. Y'all need to get out there, man. Y'all need to get these passports. Y'all need to get back to traveling. Y'all need to get cultured. Y'all need to experience different things outside of your neighborhood. But I'm tired of seeing and hearing about men complaining. Leave the soft life to the women. You get out there and work. You get out there and make money. Stack your paper up. Get out there, run up a bag, be a man. It's hard. You're probably not going to be appreciated. You're probably not going to be loved for it. You're probably not going to be worshiped for it, but who cares? Like I said a couple episodes ago, you're a man. You bear up and you take it and you keep going. Wake up in the morning, slap the ground, punch the concrete, get to work, run up a bag. Out there complaining about the rent. Man, miss me. Crazy. Money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. So y'all better get out there and make this money. America's a capitalist regime. This week, what's going on this week? We got MLK. We remembering MLK. I'm gonna touch on him real quick. One of the things that I like about MLK, and I'm not gonna get into all the racial stuff, and we already know all about that. One of the things that I love about MLK is, for myself, I always growing up, I tried to fashion myself to be a great orator or orator. I love words. I love speaking, as y'all can tell. I love speaking, and MLK was like a great. Obviously he was a great leader, but he was just a great speaker. But again, I'm gonna stay away from the racial stuff. One of the things that I love about MLK is towards the end of his chapter, he started to see things for what it really was. I think he himself started to realize, like, hold on a second, America, this, the racial stuff might be, especially in those days, it might have been an issue, might have been a problem. But I think he started to realize, this thing is about money, man. Like, this thing is about capital. This is a truly capitalist, society and regime. I truly think he started to realize that, this ain't what I thought it was. Like, this country was built on, racism and slavery and a bunch of bullshit. But I think it somewhere along the line, it transitioned. It turned into something else. It truly stopped being about one thing and totally about another. And one of the things that he kind of came to a realization towards the end, towards the end of his chapter, was, we got to focus on the black people got to focus on the money. And this is not even him and Malcolm, they came to certain realizations towards the end of their chapter of life. Like, hold on a second, man, we might be focusing on all the wrong things here. Our own folks who we fighting for is against us. Maybe we worried about the wrong things. And I think Malcolm truly started to, shift his focus towards, capitalism, capitalistic ideas. And he truly started to focus on the money. And I think he literally just before, the end of his chapter, he was really getting into, reparations. And he was really starting to get into, I want more as far as capital and opportunity and wages and generational wealth and, financial literacy for, black people, black Americans. But unfortunately, as he was, transitioning those thoughts, he was actually unalived. So that's one of the things that I kind of want, y'all, especially y'all dudes, to kind of like, research yourself. You can look into it. Like I said, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but look into it yourself. MLK was really starting to focus on, the money aspects of, this American living. So, yeah, man, we're going to take a quick sip to the man, the great man, MLK. Yo, it's crazy times. I was speaking to my boy earlier, my guy, my man, my day one, JR Martinez of Off the Block Reactions. Please go check out his podcast. He's dropping dope content on the regular. Please check him out. One of the things that he touched on, and I kind of wanted to shed light on, because it's not getting a lot of like headlines in the news for whatever reason. Obviously, Shorty who lost her life up in Minnesota has been getting all the light. But if there's one young lady that I want to shed light on, is Dacara Thompson out of Maryland, who was unfortunately unalived by a male who entered this country illegally, who entered this country by not following the proper process. She was 19 years old. You know, she was a young woman. And again, I don't like to paint narratives. So I'll have you look up the story. I'll have you research yourself about her life and how she ended up running into this male or whatever. That's to me, right at this point, that's irrelevant. The point that I want to make is she was unalived. She was a young woman whose life hadn't even really started yet. I know a lot of like 18, 19-year-olds think they've already lived like a ton of life already, and you really haven't. And she was unfortunately unalived by an illegal alien or an illegal immigrant. So she's not getting the type of news coverage that she should be getting for whatever reasons, you know. I think we know the reasons, but we're not going to get into that. You guys can, paint your own narratives. But it's sad because at 19 years old, I was in a gap year just before I left for college, running around Brooklyn, having fun with my friends. And this young lady's life was just taken from us. So to all of our law enforcement officials out there right now in America who are out there putting their lives on the line to protect us and to fix this situation, as far as, the illegals that's in this country doing the wrong things, we got to salute those brothers and sisters out there on the front lines of law enforcement, trying to clean up the illegal situation in this country. They go out there every day, and try to do a job. And obviously right now they're facing a lot of adversity out there and a lot of resistance and a lot of pushback, but they're trying to protect America from the situations that happened to 19-year-old from Maryland, Dacara Thompson. So I just wanted to put that out there. Our law enforcement officials out there doing y'all thing. I support y'all. I salute y'all, for real. Y'all fighting a good fight, despite all the adversity and all the bullshit that y'all going through. And just know that there's at least one American out here who is in full support of how y'all are trying y'all best to protect American citizens. But I think that's it, man. That's all I got for y'all. I know I kind of rode on the dudes a little bit tonight. Ladies, y'all time is coming. It's coming. Right now, I want to focus on the dudes to get them in the right mind frame in 2026, because we at the midpoint in January, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said at the top of the show, like, who's still sticking to they New Year's resolutions and goals? But like I said, I don't want to go too much longer tonight. That's all I got for y'all, man. Like, it's keep fighting a good fight, fellas. Tighten up. I'm out.
Time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.